Other than the pre-med requirements, what other classes do you recommend to take that would help us?
Like just to take
that would be really helpful.
Helpful.
Like particular in applying to schools or just?
I guess for med school in particular.
Biochem 301 with Dr. Dice. What? Yeah, not 407. Don't take 407 is a scary class. If you're in neuro, you're probably going to have to take 408 regardless, which isn't a great class. It's not an awful class. It's difficult, but 301 I would say is a very good course. It teaches you a lot of the metabolic pathways. It's a semester. It's one semester. To give you an idea of the rigor of medical school, that one semester got covered in about half a week. But it's definitely good to have a basis walking in. So I would say 301 is a good course.
I would say take something that you really enjoy that's not a science class. It might not help with your foundation, like for your medical school classes, but it definitely will build who you are aside from just from science, because they like to see that too, that you did other stuff that's because you're interested, if it's music, if it's taking a language, or something like that too.
I think probably one of my favorite courses, going back to what you just said, was not a science course. It was Samurai Tradition and Culture. It's in the Japanese Studies department, but you don't need any Japanese foundation courses to take it. So I really like that course.
What do you mean? Heroes?
It's just a specific nursing one, but my pediatrics course, working with kids, that was the most fun.
Any other questions, guys?
I was, coming into Rutgers, we had to make an adjustment. So going into graduate / medical school / nursing, did we have to make an adjustment furthermore? Like, obviously you just said that a semester's worth, a semester course load was just covered in half a week of medical school. So I'm wondering how you made that like an extra adjustment to make sure that you were still doing okay in the academics.
For nursing, like for the nursing exams that we take, I like to set goals, like kind of outline of what's going to be on my exam, and then set like a mini goal saying, okay, this is what I want to get done in 2 hours. I want to finish these 2 small topics. I think setting mini goals for yourself and also outlining for your exams will help for medical school.
It's really similar, actually. Just set milestone goals for yourself. By the end of the week, I want to know this many chapters, or I want to know this amount of material. Something I've started doing recently, for anatomy, you spend a lot of your time in the cadaver lab. So what I'll do is I'll say, I'll meet up with some friends. I'll say, let's all study on our own, but at midnight, let's go to the cadaver lab and study the little bones of, the leg and the muscles of the leg. I see a lot of you getting looks over like cadaver lab and stuff. That's just part of medical school.
Cadaver lab at midnight.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. I mean, to give you an idea, I left the cadaver lab at 3:45 in the morning yesterday, and there were still people there. Just anatomy is a rough course. I would definitely say finding a study group that you work well with is really effective. And for that, I would say don't use your close friends. I do not study with my close friends. It's really difficult to focus with them. I would say, people that you're comfortable with, but not necessarily close with.
I would say I didn't make too much of an adjustment between what I did in college and what I did in what I'm doing in grad school, but I've been telling everyone this, I have an Excel spreadsheet where I plan out like what I'm doing like by hour every day, and it really has just helped me figure out what I have to study every day and like when my classes are, and if anybody wants it I can send it. But when I went to grad school orientation, the coordinator, she actually put up something that looked just like that during orientation, so I was like, oh great, I'm doing the right thing. But it definitely helped me with organizing my time.
Question about?
No, I was like,
Yeah, you have a question?
Questions left?
I was just wondering, with all the intense
terms of schoolwork and coursework and all of that that you're doing, do you have time to do like fun stuff?
Yes. And I think it might not sound like, I don't know, but I can't talk for everybody else, but I think when I was in college, I was super, super focused, and part of me regrets it just a little bit because I think that I could have, like, you know, calmed down a little bit, but in grad school, I made a effort to make sure that it wasn't going to be like that, and I think it's important to do that because you learn better when you actually are excited about taking a break from studying. So I definitely, I do Kiwanis, which is like Circle K or like Key Club, we had Key Club in high school, so I do that outside, and I tutor students in high school, so I do some other stuff that kind of just isn't studying for school.
I won't really talk about the extracurriculars because I feel like that's something, you know, you figure out for yourself. I guess in terms of social aspect, you don't really hear about med students having much of a social life. Yeah, they really do. We go out quite a bit. I mean, it's still a lot of fun. The week before an exam, the 2 weeks before an exam, sure, you're not going to leave the library, you're not going to leave the anatomy lab. After the exam, the week after the exam, it's a lot more relaxed. You get to, so it's, you know, you get to hang out with people. I have had a girlfriend for a really long time. One thing I'm doing now is, as long as it's not the Friday before an exam, I always set aside Friday afternoon and evenings as like us time. We'll go for a movie, we'll go for dinner, you know, like whatever. It's not ideal to have to schedule your girlfriend into your day, but she's amazingly understanding about that. So you work with what you have. It's definitely less social time than you had in college, but medical school, like the kids definitely get to go out.
I mean, you have to have fun. You know, you can't be a robot and always do studying or working or volunteering or whatever it is you're doing, excuse me, to boost up your resume. Do something you're passionate about, whether it's community service or if it's just going out to the movies with your friends. You do need that time back to yourself. It kind of reminds you like, okay, I'm still a human being, I'm still kind of normal, and you're still in college, so you definitely want to try to get that experience in.
All right, we have time for one more question. Who's going to be? So in closing, how are you liking your advanced degrees at Rutgers, right? Because you're at Rutgers College of Nursing, you're now...
It's going to be Rutgers in July. It's going to be Rutgers in July, yes it is.
And you're at the UMD Master's Program,
Yeah.
so how are you liking it so far?
I love being in school. I was out of school for 3 years, and it might sound great to you right now, like you're going to be done, it'll be great, but I missed it a lot. I missed learning, actively learning every day, so I'm enjoying learning.
I'd say for the first time in a really long time, not counting your upper level courses, you can really see how what you're learning can apply to what you want to do for the rest of your life. So yeah, I spend like 18 hours a day, 20 hours a day at school, but it's not bad because you can see that there's an application for it.
Kind of going off of that, in College of Nursing, you start your last 2 years in your hospital rotations. So being able to really apply that towards your patients and starting to actually do patient care kind of makes your studying and your theory classes much more worthwhile. So I definitely love what I do, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
Well, thank you very much. We're going to give you a round of applause.